Don't know where to start building your fantasy world? Do you need more? Does it make sense? Forget any worries and become a crafter of imagination. This is the place that will help prime your mind. Now, it's time to heat up the forge, break out the mithril ingots and hammer. Welcome to the World Builder's Anvil. I'm your host, Jeffrey W. Ingram. Let's sup from the mug of Java and build. Hi, my name is Jeffrey W. Ingram, and welcome to the second episode of the World Builder's Anvil. Today's topic is, why are you world building? This is actually a pretty important topic because knowing why you're building your world will help define how much of it you need before you can start telling stories. If you have a very specific story in mind, it will allow you what part of the world that you're building needs to exist. So let's delve right into the topic today. There are many different reasons you might want to build a fantasy world. Some of them I can think of right away. For example, you want to write a book or a short story or maybe microfiction about a fantastical time and place. You might want to create video games that are all a world, So if you're playing Skyrim, well, you're on Tamriel, a very interesting world, I think, but it's a world nevertheless. You also might want to create role-playing games or maybe settings for existing role-playing games. These are both two reasons I know a lot of people build worlds is they want their own niche in the universe, so to say. They want a place where people can't go out and get a hold of the stories ahead of time, but a place where they can tell stories interactively with people. Much like video games, really, but I personally think it's a much more intimate setting when it's role-playing, either tabletop or even online at a place like Roll20. And another reason I've seen Arxifedian, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, a YouTube channel by a fellow named Edgar, is a great example of world building for the purposes of learning about our world. And I think that's an interesting way to do it because you kind of need to know the way our world exists to be able to create other worlds. Whether it's physics or the way the universe works, you really need to have some basis to explain your world to people so they can understand it. One of the worst things I believe that you can make one of the worst mistakes you can make as a world builder, I believe, is come up with the excuse that, well, magic or super technology we can't understand explains why something's happening. That might work for some people who are reading your book, but for other people, it's going to really cause confusion and it's going to make them struggle to continue through your story if they get stuck on elements of your world. So you might be doing this for money. You want to sell books. You want to sell role-play games or video games. You might just be doing it because you want to tell better stories to your children, to your friends. There's no really right or wrong reason for world building. You don't have to have the goal of, I want to be the next great author. I want to be a Neil Gaiman or someone like that who everyone knows. Or maybe you do. And for any reason that you world build, there is no incorrect answer. It's a way to exercise and express your imagination. And even if you share it with very few people, there are benefits outside of the actual storytelling. For example, I'm a IT analyst. There's a lot of creativity in the creation of objects within programs for people to use. World building helps me do that because it helps develop the part of my brain that abstracts out ideas. And the stronger you are at abstracting out ideas, the better you're going to be able to deal with unusual circumstances in the workplace. Make better decisions quickly, I think. I have no facts to back that up, so don't take me as some expert for efficiency in the workplace. But I really believe that working your imagination will make you better at your everyday job. Or maybe you're someone like me who wants to break away from your everyday job and start spending more time doing this stuff. And that maybe leads back to money, but the two, where the money's important, the reason is I want to be world building more. And for me, that's actually the ultimate goal. So one of the things I've been studying recently, actually taking a course with Michael Hyatt online right now, is if we really want to do this and we know why, let's come up with some goals for this year on why we are doing it. What do you want to accomplish with building your world? When do you want to accomplish it by? what do you need to accomplish what you want? Now, I'm not a believer in just sharing my goals out randomly with people. I think it devalues them. However, let's make up a sample goal right now. Let's say I want to self-publish a book by the end of next year. Well, that tells me when I want to do it. And it also says what I want to do, right? I want a book and I want it by the end of next year. So a few things I need to find out is what format will it be published in? Am I going to try and go a traditional publishing route, or am I going to try and self-publish the book? I'm going to need cover art. I'm going to need an editor, an artist, a marketing plan, everything that I'm going to need to come up with a book that will be produced by the end of next year. That's not exactly a goal of mine. However, obviously I have goals similar to that. Now, the best thing to do is if you're not sure on all the steps, don't beat yourself up. We'll get to that in the task for the week. But, Google is a good friend for these kind of things. If you want to learn how to publish books, well, talk to authors. Twitter's a great place to find authors. Go find authors who've been published and ask them, how did you get published? There's a lot of good content. There's some good books out there about how to get fiction or nonfiction books published. But here, you're probably looking more towards a fiction book. Artist, once again, Google cover art. Go to Twitter. You'll find people who do cover art all over Twitter as well, and editors as well. Now, if you go a traditional publishing route, you're going to get an editor. However, if you're self-publishing, don't forget editing. You need to make sure that the development of your story works. You need to make sure that it's readable, because the less readable it is, or the more errors in the storytelling that happens, the harder it is to get people to read and enjoy your work. And once again, you don't want to end up in a never-ending story losing scenario where your work just fades to nothing. And now, topic-wise this week, this is also a very basic topic, a simple topic, I think, probably a bit shorter than what most of my podcast will be. The world-building topic for the day. Create one big goal, one thing that you would like to accomplish with your world building this year. The reason you want to do this is it gives you a goal, something to work for. And then you can break that task down into smaller bits to help you get to where you want to be with your world. So create a goal and make it a big goal. Make it, I want to start a website where I could share my role-playing information with people. Or I can blog about world building, or I want to blog about fantasy storytelling. Whatever you want to do, make a goal for it right now. Take that goal and create a list of items that you think you're going to need. And you might need Google to get to some of this stuff. You might not know how to set up a web page or publish a book or create a video game. So Google out and find out what you need to do it. And then you want to create what assets do I have right now that will help me get to my goal? Or what bad things do I have to get towards it? And if you're like me, it's going to be time. Time is going to be the biggest problem you have, because you're going to have to probably work during the week to help feed your family. For your real world task for the day is to write down why you want to do it, what you want to get out of it. And, whether it's more money, or you just want to do more of it, or you want to share it more, write down why you want to do it. And then once you have that done, talk to your significant other if you have one, and explain to them why you're world building this year and what you want to get out of it. And now the tease for the next episode: how to find inspiration for world building. Thanks for joining us this episode of the World Builders Anvil. Please be sure to rate and review us in iTunes, and please help get the word out to your friends about our show. And join me, Jeffrey W. Ingram, at Gardual.com to see the progress of my world and learn why I made the choices I did. And please contact me and let me know the topics you would love to hear in the future. Now strike while the myth rolls high.